Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and my name is Justina, in case you guys didn't know. And today we're gonna kind of get serious. I'm gonna get really real with you guys because I'm gonna be talking about my phobia. And my phobia is one that's not really that common, or at least I'm probably the only person that I know personally, well besides my mom, that has this phobia, and it is the fear of driving. And I know that sounds silly, and to people that can't relate to me, it might seem silly because it's probably like second nature to you and so easy for you to do. But driving does cause a lot of panic and anxiety in me, and so it's something that I've always struggled with since I was really young. Like, I've had a lot of traumatizing experiences when it comes to driving. Not my driving personally, just people I've been around. And so I'm going to get into that, and I'm always like reflecting back, and I'm like, if that's the reason why I'm so afraid to drive. To this day, I still am afraid. I mean, I have my license now, and I actually just got that this year. So like, I have never been a big driver, and I'm pretty proud of myself that I got my license. I was bound and determined to get it, and I did get it this year. And now I'm driving full time. I drive to work myself. I mean, it's just a straight cut to work and back. And I am getting a lot more comfortable when it comes to driving. It's just still kind of scary for me. Like, I don't like to drive to places where I don't know where I'm going, and I don't like to drive in busy areas, or else I'll have a really bad panic attack. And it's not because of my driving per se, it's other people. It's like that control where I can't control other people, because I have been in a couple bad car accidents. And the first one I was in was actually, I was with my mom, and this was back when so I had a little brother that passed away from SIDS, and it made my mom very depressed, and she turned to alcoholism to cope with it. And so she had a really bad addiction to alcohol. And so whenever I was younger, I remember we were going to the cemetery, and we're going to go visit my great-grandpa's grave. And it was me and my sister and my mom and another relative that went with us. And so my mom and the other relative had been drinking a lot, and I was about 10 years old, and I knew, like, I was like, this isn't, like, I had that gut feeling like something isn't going to end well. And so this was like back when it was like daylight savings time, so it got really dark easily. And so it was starting to get dark, and I was like, okay, we gotta leave. And my mom and my other relative were crying, and they were drunk. And when it was time to go, my mom decided that she was more sober than the other relative to drive. And let me tell you this, my mom didn't have her license, and she wasn't a driver. Like, I come from a family where the women don't really drive that much. And so that wasn't really news to me, but I was afraid for my mom to drive because I knew that she didn't drive. And so we get around the first turn, my mom's driving, and where I lived, it's out in the country, and so the roads are like not straight at all, like they're curvy, and you never know when the turn is coming, and we didn't really know that road that well. And so when the first turn came, my mom goes straight instead of turning, and so she crashes into a tree. And the tree, my sister and I, we didn't have our seatbelts on. Like, we had to hold on to the back of the van because we were in a van, and we held on to the seats like this in the van, and the tree came right through both me and my sister, like right in between us. Like, if we had been in the middle, I don't know what would have happened. I don't think it would have been good. And so when we crashed, like, that was the most gut-wrenching and traumatizing experience in my life. Like, I saw my mom and my other relative in the front seat passed out. They had glass in their face. There was blood. And my sister and I were in tears. And this is so personal to tell, and especially to you guys, but I just want you guys to know, like, where this fear of driving comes from for me. And so we were out in the middle of nowhere, and we were running barefoot to find some help. And like, let me tell you this, it was dark, pitch black. We were in the country, like, there's no lights, street lights or anything. It's pitch black. All we have is the moonlight. And my sister and I are running. We have stickers in our feet because we took our shoes off. We lost them in the crash. And then finally we see a vehicle coming in. It's a truck, and we flag down the lady, and we get help. That that first couple of years since that wreck, it was horrible. Like, we moved on from it and everything was fine, but my mom and the other relative were fine. My mom did get into some trouble because, you know, you can't drink and drive, and she risked our lives. And I love my mom to this day, and everybody makes mistakes, and I don't hold that against her. And I just want you to see how that experience affected me when it comes to driving. And there's been a couple of other incidents. Like, I know somebody that has passed away from driving and texting, and there's actually 2 people involved in that both died just from texting and driving. So I am so against that. Every time I see somebody texting and driving, I get so mad, and it irks me. And then the other driving experience I was like 17 years old or 16, and you know how we are as teenagers, sometimes we hang with the wrong crowds. And so I was in a vehicle with a bunch of other teenagers, and the guy driving was really drunk, and I was in the backseat with a couple other people, and he was driving so fast. And again, we're out in the country, and here comes the curve where he turned way too sharp, and we were all in this pickup, and the pickup flipped on its side and slid. I thought I was going to die in that wreck. It was horrible. And so I don't know if I want to say I blame my fear of driving on all of those experiences, but I have to say they have played a major role. And it's just the sense of not being in control. Like, both me, like, it's just like if you lose control for 1 second, you could kill yourself, you could kill somebody else. It's just very scary for me. And it's really hard because, sorry, I'm not gonna cry, no. It's just really hard because there's hardly anybody that can relate to you. And I've tried so hard. Like, my husband and I, we have an awesome marriage, and like, we never fight. But before I got my license and started driving, if we did fight, it would be it was because of me not driving. Like, I know I felt like such a burden to him. And then growing up when I had friends wanting to go somewhere, wanting me to come over, and I couldn't drive myself, I felt like such a burden for them to have to drive me home, pick me up. Like, I just felt like a burden. And people, like, I worked throughout since I've been 14, I've always worked, and so I would have to have people drive me to work, pick me up, and I always felt like such a burden to people. And this year, since I've really dug deep and I've really tried to work through my issues, and you know, I practiced with my husband. He showed me a lot, and he really helped me through this phobia of mine. And I know he really doesn't have a lot of patience, but I gotta commend him. Like, he had a lot of patience with me, because I know if it was me in his place, I'd be sick and tired of me too. But he had patience with me, and I got my license, and I'm driving now, and I'm a very good driver. It's just the phobia of driving itself. Like, sometimes my anxiety can get the best of me. I really haven't had any issues lately, though. I mean, there will be certain situations, like, where it's really, like, the traffic is horrible and I start to panic for a second, but then I remember to just, like, take a step back, calm down, and just breathe. Like, I'll turn the music up, and I'll be like, it's okay, Justina, you're gonna make it through this. Like, just calm down. You'll get home eventually. It doesn't matter when you get home, you'll be fine. And so, I think I've been coping pretty well, considering, you know. And so I just wanted to make this video, not for any sympathy story or anything. It's just because I literally, when I was having this struggle and this fear, I literally looked up other YouTube videos to see if there was anybody else that could relate to me. And I didn't find any, like, hardly anything. And so I know I can't be the only one. I know I can't be, because I Googled it and I've read people's blog posts and stuff about their fear and how they don't drive and stuff. And so I know I'm not the only one. So I thought I would make a video for those of you, because I've always been embarrassed to admit that I was afraid to drive, or I've been embarrassed that I didn't have a license, and I just kind of like brushed it off. Like, I never lied to anybody, I just never told them, or, you know. So I just wanted to make this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was really serious, and I know it was pretty long, and I apologize for that. But just let me know in the comments below what your phobia is and how you're coping with it. And let me know if you guys have a fear of driving or if you know anybody, because let me tell you, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one out there. And so thank you guys so much. Again, I probably thanked you like 5 times already, but I really mean it from the bottom of my heart for you guys listening to me. It really means so much to me. And so I'll see you guys later, and I promise the next video will be happy and more Christmassy. Promise. Thanks, guys.